Hi friends, Winslow here with Vibrant Health Evolution, and I want to show you a couple of tricks here that I do for my health and well-being. Eat well, be well. And the first one is cilantro. So I took a bunch of cilantro. I usually buy about 4 at a time because I eat a lot of cilantro in my heavy metal detox smoothie and then just in general, because cilantro is such a powerful herb. It draws toxins out of the body. It's got so many vitamins and nutrients. And so I just take it, even stems and all, and I'm gonna cut it up into little pieces. And then I will store it in a jar in my fridge. And whenever I go to eat a meal, pretty much no matter what it is, unless it's something sweet, I will take some of the cilantro and sprinkle some on top. And so I chop that up. I already have a little bit chopped up here. So I'm going to put it onto, well, my pizza that I'm going to eat over here is a gluten-free vegan pizza. I'm going to get a different jar. So I'll put it in the jar and store it away. Now I'm going to do the same thing with some parsley. So parsley is another really powerful herb. All this cilantro is not going to fit in this jar, so I'm going to have to get a little bigger container. But the flat leaf parsley is the most powerful one of the parsleys. So I'm going to do the same thing, chop it in half, fold it here, and then just chop it up really small. So you can eat the stems and everything. They're actually really good for you. You don't need to waste any part of it. Watch your fingers here when you're chopping. I'll chop this up really small so that it's easy to just sprinkle on top of anything. And I'll do the same thing here. I'll store it away. Trick is you got to remember to use it, right? All these can be new habits that you have to actually develop the habit of doing this and remembering to use it. But it's Sunday, so I'm doing a little bit of food prep here. So this should last me a couple days. I got this out of my garden. Parsley is really easy to grow. And it will survive the winters as well. You know something's good for you when it is so hardy that it survives the Utah winters with snow and everything. So all of the herbs like oregano and thyme and rosemary, they all survive the winter. They're hardy herbs, so they pass on some of that hardiness to us. Okay, so there we go. Nice and small. I'm going to put some here to the side because I'm going to put some on my pizza. So the other thing I got from my garden just momentarily ago was some oregano. Such a deeply healing herb. And so the oregano, I'm going to take some of this and put it into a glass of water. I'm going to change out my oregano and thyme here for the oregano and thyme water. Really good, and you just soak it in water for a couple hours. I usually just soak it overnight, and I keep refilling this cup because I'll leave it by my windowsill. But I'm going to just pull off some of this oregano here. That's probably enough, and I'm going to chop this up and put it onto my pizza. I found this mayonnaise crust, which actually they don't sell at the Smiths anymore, so I don't know where I'm going to get it. But I also make my own crust sometimes from the King Arthur gluten-free crust. I'll use that one. Chop it up really. You know, these herbs, like the parsley and the oregano, are pretty strong herbs, so chopping them up small is nice because it makes it more digestible and not so strong. Okay, so I'll put the oregano to the side there. I also got some rosemary. Oh man, rosemary, I love the smell of it. It smells so good. So this rosemary is another one of those really hardy herbs that survives the winter. So I'm gonna chop it up really fine. So I have dried rosemary too, and I put rosemary and thyme and oregano, either dried or fresh, on a lot of my meals, because these kind of herbs, you'd be surprised at how much value they can add to your body. I'll often put in my meals, or occasionally I should say, put in my meals into the food data calculator, like fooddatanutrition.com, I think it's called. Because I eat, and I've been doing it for about 7 years, mostly fruits and veggies, sweet potatoes, and wild foods and herbs, sprouts. So sometimes I'll put it in just to see like what are, you know, am I getting all the amino acids and what are the protein content, and I'll get like 40% of my protein from one meal, and a lot of it I think comes from just eating a lot of these herbs, rosemary and oregano and thyme. So that's the rosemary. And then here's the thyme, also a deeply healing herb. Great thyme water or thyme tea. The oregano and the thyme, you can either do thyme in just cold water or like room temperature water, or you can do it in tea, and it's really powerful. Antiviral, antibacterial, so many healing properties. So I'm gonna pull off the leaves. I'm not gonna use the little stem here. And get some of this thyme. Kind of crumble it as I'm pulling it off. And this is already pretty tiny and small, so probably don't have to chop it a whole lot. But I wanna make sure there's no stems in there. Pull off a little more. Anything I don't eat in this moment, I'll just save for later. Okay, so a little thyme chopped up. Easy peasy. Okay. Great, so then what I have here as well is I chopped up some spinach. So there's some chopped up spinach. And I have some sprouts. So I grow these sprouts and I put them in a container and eat them throughout the week. And so I will put a ton of sprouts on top of the pizza. I really like it. Mostly I like alfalfa sprouts. I also have broccoli sprouts in here. But let me just show you how I'm gonna do this. So I'm gonna get this pizza. I'm gonna cut up a piece here. If you don't mind, just cut this. Okay, pretty big slice here. And I have on this pizza, I took some mushrooms and I cooked them, baked them in the oven with a little bit of coconut aminos. And then I just put raw broccoli, peppers, onions, raw garlic on here. And then I cooked the pizza for 10 to 15 minutes. But then I like to add, so none of this stuff is raw anymore right after I cook it. So I like to add raw foods and have raw foods with every meal. So the other thing I got to chop up here were some of these little Thai chilies that I grew in my garden. These are really spicy. So if you like spicy, they're great. I grow the Thai chilies, and I also grew some red jalapenos. Did you know that green peppers aren't ripe? And any pepper, if you leave it on the bush long enough, it will turn color. So the red jalapenos are really just jalapenos that have stayed on the bush longer and ripened. And then I have a tomato here from the garden. And so I'm gonna cut up a little bit of this fresh tomato. So I'm gonna have a lot of freshies on my pizza here. Put these up a little bit small. Put some of this on here. Okay, now let's get the other goods in here. So here's the oregano, the rosemary, the cilantro, and a little bit of parsley. And then let's get the sprouts. So it's really like I have a salad. Really, when I make a pizza, it's more like I have a salad on top of my pizza. That's the way I like it. Okay. There we go. Maybe even a little bit of arugula or basil or the raw spinach on top. And then I can enjoy the pizza, right? This is a mile-high pizza pie. Delicious. Let's see if I have, I was going to show you the sauce I use. It's a fat-free spaghetti sauce that I found at Whole Foods. Really good. Yeah, that's great. All right, well, thanks for being here with me today. I hope you are well. Oh, you probably saw my knee brace thing when I went over there. Let me show you. It's when I'm cooking in the kitchen. I just had that knee replacement about 9 weeks ago, so I keep the ice going, the ice machine. This cord is quite long, and then the cord that connects to the wall to pump the ice water through is quite long, so I can just kind of dance around the kitchen as I'm making my move. All right, friends, eat well, be well. This is Winslow with Vibrant Health Evolution. Namaste.